A well-known and affluent merchant of Damascus was strolling along the streets late at night. Despite the pleasant weather, he felt suffocated. According to the doctors, he had no more than a week or 10 days to live. Despite all the luxuries in his life, his helplessness was such that everything seemed to be coming to an end before its time. The doctors in his own country had given up on him, and the faint hope that treatment might be possible in America had also faded. After several months of tests and consultations, the most senior doctor there had gently explained, "You don't have much time left. My advice, and the wisest thing to do, would be to spend your remaining precious time with your family." Lost in thought, he wandered aimlessly through the night until he found himself on a desolate and narrow bridge. His train of thought broke as he reached this isolated spot. On the opposite side of the road, beneath the streetlight, he saw a woman speaking to a man. She seemed to be around 30 years old and was pleading with him, while the man appeared to be a sleazy individual who wasn't agreeing to her request. His pace slowed as he unintentionally overheard their conversation. The woman said, "I desperately need this money, my children are hungry. I'm ready to go with you." The man, however, scoffed and refused, offering her less than half of what she was asking, saying, "You're worth even less than that." Then, shrugging his shoulders, he walked away, leaving the woman standing there as a picture of despair. The merchant hesitated but then turned and walked toward the woman. Seeing him approach, she became alert, her eyes filled with cautious hope. Before he could reach her, she stepped forward as if forcing herself to do so. She greeted him, and he replied warmly, noticing the artificial smile on her face. She leaned in slightly and asked in a suggestive tone, "Are you interested?" He stepped back and gently said, "No, nothing like that. I overheard part of your conversation with that man. Tell me, my sister, what's troubling you?" His kind words broke her composure, and tears welled up in her eyes. "I swear by the one who is listening to us, I am not the kind of woman who waits on the street for someone late at night. But I am here out of sheer desperation." The merchant felt as if his heart was being squeezed. "Sister, tell me what's wrong." She began to explain, her voice trembling. "I'm a widow with small children. My husband passed away nearly a year ago. In the beginning, neighbors and relatives helped us a little, but over time, everyone stopped. There's no food left in the house, and the landlord has lost patience. He gave us until tomorrow evening to pay the rent or leave the house with all our belongings. I have no other option left but to. Her voice broke, and the merchant quickly turned away, pretending to compose himself while discreetly wiping his tears. Then he turned back and said, "That's enough, sister. Don't worry." He reached into his pockets, but the money he had on him was barely enough. He told her, "Take this for now, and give me your address. Don't worry, everything will be fine, God willing. Go home." The woman looked at him with disbelief, unsure whether to trust him. He reassured her again, and eventually, she gave him her address and walked away. The merchant stood there for a while, watching her go, then hurried back home. Once home, he gathered a significant amount of cash and instructed his driver to bring out the large van. Driving it himself, he stopped by a 24-hour store and filled the van with a substantial amount of groceries. He drove to the woman's address, unloaded the groceries, handed her the cash, and said, "I will personally speak to your landlord tomorrow and settle the rent issue. From now on, a fixed amount will be sent to you every month." Before she could respond, he quickly turned and left. The woman stood there, tears streaming down her face, watching as the van disappeared from view. The merchant's mood had changed drastically. Where despair had overwhelmed him earlier, now joy radiated from him. The thought of having only a week or 10 days left no longer weighed heavily on him. He took a pen and paper, wrote down the woman's address, and included instructions in his will to ensure that funds for her and her children would be sent every month. He sealed the note in an envelope and placed it in his safe. He felt a sense of peace, as if he had prepared himself for his final journey. A week passed, then 10 days. Contrary to expectations, he lived another month, sending the next payment to the woman. Months turned into years, 5, 10, and eventually 20. The merchant lived a full 20 years beyond his prognosis, before passing away. The story does not end here. When his family discovered him lifeless one morning, they mourned his loss, but found solace in his peaceful death. After the burial and other arrangements, they opened his safe and found the envelope with the instructions, dated 20 years earlier. They realized that the monthly payments to the address had been delayed by 7 days due to the time spent on his final rites. Taking the money, they went to the address and knocked on the door. A woman, now over 50, answered. After exchanging greetings, the merchant's eldest son explained, "We've come to deliver the monthly payment on behalf of our father. We apologize for the delay of 7 days." The woman quickly interrupted, "Oh, no, please don't apologize. Your father did so much for us. Please convey my deepest gratitude to him and tell him we always keep him in our prayers." The son, puzzled, asked, "Why won't you need the payment anymore?" The woman, tears of joy streaming down her face, replied, "Because a month ago, my eldest son got a job. 7 days ago, he received his first salary." Her words flowed freely, but the sons could only focus on one line. 7 days ago, my son received his first salary. If you liked my content, please make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos.